Well, I really am proud of that. I've only been hunting, since 2002, 2003. Really proud of that case right there. Proud of everything I find. Whether it's whole or broken. I'm really proud of this case. Says I'm constantly trying to fix it. It needs fixed again. Some of the quartz thicker ones slide down a lot. But it doesn't matter if it's a whole one, if it's a tool, a bunch of broken bird points, or a bunch of whole bird points. I've been trying to redo my bird point case. I had gotten a bigger one for it, but it's not working out well. It's not letting even some of the smallest ones keep from sliding. And I display all that's actually made by me, but I found that in the field. It's not glued in there, it's just tied in with synthetic sinew. These are like pictures of all nephews, nieces, friends' kids. There's an award I got in 2012 for Award of Excellence. That's my blade case. This is a favorite tool case to a gifted axe that's from a friend, to this gifted pipe that's from a friend, to this gifted broken gorget that's from a friend, this gifted little hematite celt that's from a friend in Ohio, to some of my other finds, just a celt, a big thumb scraper. Most thumb scrapers are only this size. This is just a triangle made out of hematite. Found it right along some Ettleys and stuff. Two of my favorite adds is just a big blade. It has a chip in it right there, but I don't care. I don't care what they have wrong with them. And this is a bone tool, a bone awl made from the knuckle joint of a deer whitetail antler. You know, any place I've ever hunted, we're just gonna say this right off the bat, I have never trespassed. I've always had permission. I really don't have much for historic stuff. These beads, these trade beads, are trade beads you can get anywhere. All the ones I have been sent to me from friends. Have all been gifted to me. This piece of pottery was gifted to me. These Civil War bullets were gifted. Well, no, I found these out in my big sea of dirt. Oops. Gotta shut that water off. Didn't mean for it to get that hot. I was heating up some water, making some hummingbird food. Because I like to heat it up and get it mixed up real good for them. They just happen to like it better. This whole cabinet is all full of mostly gifted stuff, all the way from things that are whole to things that are, you know, broke or chipped or whatever. But I cherish them all. Everything. And these are all stuff that's all gifted from friends. Mostly. I mean, there's a few of my finds and stuff in there, but most it's all of theirs that are displayed more proudly. But and I mean, I have, you know, just a few things laying out here. Bigger tools. This is gifted from friends. This here is a matati with a mano. You know, it's all laid out for display. But the main reason for this video is because of this website right here, Indian Country Today Media Network, and this article, People of the Dirt, Part 2, The Obsessive and Destructive Artifact Thieves, by Mary Annette Pember, is complete slanderous and preposterous, and she needs to learn her facts before bashing people, whether it's singular or a community such as the artifact community that has been going on for generations and generations and has been handed down for generations. And associating myself or anyone that I even know in the artifact community with drugs, especially methamphetamines. I'm not going to go over the whole article here, but in her article, you can find this real easy on the internet. I'll see if I can't put a link to the vid somehow of this. But she goes on about, in one episode of Breaking Bad, a TV series about criminals producing methamphetamine, two characters, Jesse and Mike, are trying to retrieve a huge stash of drugs stolen from their boss by two addicts. Jesse, a former addict, soon tires of sitting in a car and waiting for the armed, unpredictable addicts to emerge from the house. Much to Mike's dismay, grabs a shovel from the trunk and begins digging a hole in the front yard of the hideout. Almost immediately, one of the addicts, Tucker, emerges from the house and joins in digging the hole. While Tucker is distracted, Jesse and Mike break into the house and retrieve the drugs. Jesse later explains to a shocked Mike, "Hey, I know meth heads. Meth addicts typically display increased alertness, concentration, paranoia, and increased energies. The addicts in Breaking Bad spent hours dismantling electronic devices and then reassembling them without distraction. This portrayal, it turns out, is painfully and bizarrely accurate. Meth heads do like to dig. They are digging for Indian artifacts at a recklessly alarming rate. Unfortunately, this isn't a TV show." That's right, that TV show has nothing to do with artifacts at all, whatsoever. And then it goes on. You have to excuse me. I'm not happy about this. I'm kind of quite upset. I mean, we've had haters for years in the artifact community, but this is slanderous. And this isn't just slanderous towards me. This is slanderous towards everybody. It says, unfortunately, this isn't a TV show, and they are being joined by many other people who are also interested in a quick payoff, as evidenced by the hundreds of postings on YouTube and of various digging endeavors. Although viewed by many as a benign hobby, digging for artifacts is a beginning business online and at artifact show, where pottery fetches thousands of dollars. Even arrowheads can bring hundreds, depending on condition and type. Well, there's been artifact shows going on forever, and anywhere that there's a collectible, it doesn't matter what it is. Right here, there's over 13 editions of this book made now, and these are the guys who are all considered the top artifacts, top people who are allowed to make a pricing and a listing on artifacts. These are all the stores, different people who have artifact businesses in these books with their advertisement that buy and sell artifacts. Not everybody buys and sells artifacts. A lot of people, personal collectors, like to keep their own stuff, and they pass it down to generations in their family. I had a section open in ours, but I shared this on my Facebook page because I'm pretty knownly large throughout the community in the artifacts on Facebook and YouTube. And I don't think a lot of YouTube people have seen this yet, but everything she talks about in here is wrong. There's a bad apples in everything we do, as to where you get the right to call myself a meth addict and all the people I know, and that's not just personally, but here's my subscription page to the people I watch all over the United States that share their Arrowhead videos. And every one of these people, some of them have traveled here to meet us. And they're all upstanding people in their own communities. There's not a single one of these persons. You're not going to catch meth heads posting videos about what they do in life. From what I've seen in our area, meth heads, they don't want anybody knowing what they're doing. They don't want to show anybody anything. They hide totally. And I don't look to hide at anything I do. That's why I share my hunts. That's why I've been sharing my hunting now for over 3.5 years, along with other people. And you just can't go around calling everyone bad. There's only 99% of amateur archaeologists go by all of their state's legal laws and don't do anything to disrespect anyone. They try to help educate people, and they share what they do in life because that's what that's what we love doing. We are trying to share what is important, and collecting is important. It is recovering and rescuing artifacts that would be lost forever. And for you to call all artifact hunters meth heads and be calling everyone on YouTube putting up videos bad people shows you know nothing. One of our most famous YouTubers is a preacher, a priest. I'm not going to say any names, but that's not a lie. That's the honest truth. And are you going to call him a meth head because he collects artifacts? And me and him have had arguments about, you know, like these here, their date line is 5,000 to 7,000 years old. Do you know 65% of the population still believes the world is only 6,000 years old? Now, I'm not demeaning anyone. That's their opinion if that's what they want to believe. But the world is billions of years old, and man has been roaming it for hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, and man has been making stone tools for over 300,000 some years. Most on our continent aren't known any older than 20,000 years old. One of the oldest known artifacts, such as the Clovis arrowhead, and this is a reproduction that was given to me, but its oldest known date is 18,900 years old. Most Stone Age artifacts, besides there being no written records even past Mississippian period, which is where most of your bird points come from, the Cahokian mounds in Missouri they dig at, and all that stuff goes in a museum. Most things that are dug up by archaeologists, professionals, end up in a museum, end up in a box, and are no later shown to anyone. They're never seen. Personal collectors, we like to always make sure our stuff is shown, or we like to share it by either giving it to friends or family, or yes, sometimes pieces are sold. There's nothing wrong with that. Any collectible has a price. That doesn't mean that they're not priceless to certain people, okay? And I guess back to your article, I hate to make this forever, but Mary Annette Pember, you started this, and you not only owe me an apology, but you owe the artifact community an apology. You are lacking resources you know nothing about. I'm going to jump over to page 2, because after showing this video, anyone that wants to can go read it. But here's where she becomes on saying, bringing me into the subject personally, and not just me, but my YouTube friends. You can see my name right there, Brooksy. Hey, that's me. But it says, brief research into the topic on YouTube bears out these claims. Bears out what claims? Well, up here it says the paper also, that's at Riverfront Times, saying about where they're having a problem in Arkansas with people that did some looting. There was the same thing in Florida. And I'll tell you what, if those people are looting in burial graves or in private property where they don't belong, or protected property, then they need to go to jail. Okay? Every place I have ever hunted, ever, I've always had permission for. Otherwise, it's been a public waterway, a creek. And when it comes to your creek arrowheads, especially mine, this is a pretty nice one. Most of them are rough and beat up, and they're not worth anything. They're like this one here. This arrowhead, to a buying collector, this arrowhead is worth nothing. To me, it's worth everything, because I found it. It fell out of an eroding bank into a creek. You know, you talk about my hunting videos, but you don't talk about that I walk in creeks forever, and that I walk in fields. And Jimmy Carter even gave a law that protects artifact hunting. Look it up. I'm not going to get into all that. We'll go back to how she is slandering me. The thousands of postings related to artifact collecting is an enthusiast named Brooksy. He has posted numerous videos of himself and friends digging for artifacts. One post includes over 35 minutes of footage shot at an artifact show and comprised solely of close-ups of framed box of arrowheads after box of arrowheads and artifacts. Yeah, you know how many artifact shows have been going on since artifacts were collected? They happen in every state that has an archaeological society. They have artifact shows, sometimes twice a year. We have them twice a year. I put mine in an artifact show. I have been since the first year I was collecting, because I wanted to show off what I had found, because I was proud of it. Then she goes on to exclaim, his forearms covered with arrowhead tattoos slide into the picture as he repeatedly fondles the items, exclaiming, look at that, in his heavy Arkansas accent. The large number of arrowheads and other artifacts at one show is overwhelming, and his mind-numbing attention to each item's detail. Well, first of all, in my heavy Arkansas accent, I don't even live in Arkansas. I've never lived in Arkansas. I live in Missouri. Everybody knows that. And actually, I didn't live in Missouri permanently until 1995. I grew up an hour south of Chicago, where the NASCAR racetrack sits at now, is basically where I grew up. Right south, right outside of Joliet. for over 25 years. So that shows you know nothing about me. And let's talk about the arrowheads on my arm. See that scar that runs right along there with that arrowhead there? And that one there and all those petroglyphs? Those are my personal found arrowheads. Those are petroglyphs that are actual petroglyphs from around the United States. That is in a book made by Sabra Moore, who went and traveled the United States for over 10 years. You can get her book online for $3.50. And she traveled the United States for 10 years and took certain drawings of petroglyphs and pictographs just as they were. And the ones that I picked out were some of my favorite from her book. Because before I ever even looked for arrowheads, I have been in love with petroglyphs and pictographs since I was a young kid because of my family heritage, which we will get into. This reason for the scar on my arm is another reason that I'm going to get into that shows you know nothing about me. Okay? Right here, you know, you go on to speak about me. It says Brooksy, like many of his brethren, has a habit of including native flute music with his videos, and appears to burn sage at the beginning of one dig. And his prayer, thank you, Great Spirit, for everything, for the chance to look for the finds left behind from those who came before us, and who left nothing but what they took from the earth. Apparently, many collectors see their action as a form of honoring native peoples. I actually think it's paying respect to the people that were here before us and passing on to the next generation, said Dowdy in the Rifle and Rod article. You know, you don't have the reason to slander me or any artifact hunter and associate us with meth users. If you were to go to any artifact show, anyone that has a table set up, you're not going to see them. They're not going to appear and look like a meth head because they don't do drugs. I don't even drink. And, you know, it took me, I was in a bad accident in 2006. And I've been under doctor's care for 7 years. I have to take the medicine I have to take. I can't even drink alcohol with. If I was to take drugs with any of my medicine, it would probably kill me. Besides, having to be in pain management and taking the medication I do, they not only take my blood all the time, I have to give a urine sample before I get my medicine every time. I've never touched methamphetamines in my whole life. Before I had my accident, I used to drink some. But I can't even drink now. It took me 3 years post-accident, and it happened in 2006, before I could even walk more than 15 minutes at a time. I didn't even start my YouTube account until after 3.5 years from my accident, and was mostly at my doctor's discretion, or at her orders, kinda. You know, I'd lost everything in my life. I had some co-workers put up some scaffolding, and I fell 35 feet and landed on my feet. It destroyed my back. I spent 9 months in an upper body cast with a neck brace. And at 9 months, I had to wear that. They couldn't operate until my bones got hard enough where they could go in and fuse the area, which is a large area of my back, my spine that's fused together. Then they wrapped it with a cage, and then they put bars and screws in and everything and sewed me back up. And that wasn't an easy operation itself. They removed everything from my upper body cavity except my lung and my heart. And I hate to have to get into all this, but you are talking about things you don't even know about. How can you even slander me and keep slandering the artifact community, calling us meth heads when you know nothing about us? Look at my house. The meth heads have a nice house, you know. I'd take you out and show you my yard. You know, the meth heads grow strawberries and flowers and have a nice yard because that's what they want to do, and it takes me hell and high water to get out there and mess with that stuff. I pay with it greatly. Every time I go hunting, I pay with it greatly with pain. There's not a day, a 24/7 that doesn't go by that I don't live in pain. But I try to humbly, in my mind and soul, look past that. Because the Great Spirit gave me a blessing the day I fell, and He didn't let me die or be a quadriplegic from the neck down like I should be. I broke the C1 vertebrae in my neck. Anyone else that happens to, they're a quadriplegic or they're dead. When I woke up, I was told by several doctors standing around me I was 1 in a million to even be alive, let alone if I'm going to be able to walk. And I have done nothing but try to strive and push from every day forward of that. And my teeth got all jacked up when I fell. My teeth have been destroyed by my medicine. Monday, I have to go spend $3,000 of my own money to have my what teeth are in there yanked out and false ones put in because, you know, this stuff and my accident destroyed my teeth. I almost bit my tongue off. I am lucky to have my tongue. But the first year and a half, I was sleeping at night. I was in such great pain, even with medication, I was grinding my teeth and didn't know it. And then, so I had to start wearing a mouth guard and still have to wear a mouthpiece at night when I sleep so I don't grind my teeth. I just don't wear it as often as I used to because I don't grind them like I used to. This lady, Annette Pember, and this website, Indian Country Media Today Network.com, what you are allowing to happen is slander. We've always had haters in the artifact community. We've always had haters on YouTube. If you're going to keep hating on people, you need to get your facts straight. There's maybe 1% of people that hunt artifacts that are meth heads or drug users. You can't be successful at finding artifacts and being a drug user. Trust me, I've ran into those drug users in the creek. And when I pick up arrowheads behind them, they see nothing with their eyes because their minds and their eyes and their souls are all scattered. You know, I want to read something here that was shared with me. And then we'll stop this. But this was shared to my page from a friend in Ohio who also collects artifacts. But just as the person who wrote this, for some of us it's a life passion, and 99% who collect artifacts are good people under everyone's eyes they're around are known by. their story in stone is what it says. It says, check out what I just found. Their story in stone. And this was sent to me from a friend. It says, there it goes, another site gone to a house development. That place used to house so many ancient artifacts and memories. Man, did I have to work hard for them. Endless hours of excavating at my parents' land for what seemed as a rock to me was my life, my happiness, and my escape from very sad times in my life. Would have been a lot easier if I would have lucked out and was raised in an area of farming, but I had 15 years to save as many of the most beautiful artifacts that, if not for my love, would have never been seen by the light of day, to be cherished at local public shows. It is a huge part of my life, being an amateur archaeologist, to show the public the right under their very own feet. We have these amazing stone tools crafted by many thousands of ancient people, and believe it or not, well over half the population never knew existed. The feeling is just so amazing you get uncovering one of these pieces of ancient history. Every one of them tells a story and makes you wonder in pure amazement of the life it had and why it lays there underneath the earth. As I sit gazing in awe at the beautiful work of art I have just uncovered, my mind begins to try and unravel and try to see a glimpse of the life these men and women lived and how they survived. I'm completely mesmerized by every artifact I save. What did it see? What did it hunt? How was it shafted? A pastime of mine when I'm not saving these gorgeous works of art and tools used, crafted by men many thousands of years, is sitting at some local amateur archaeological meeting. This is where us amateurs welcome the public with never any charge to share our knowledge about the sites we save. These feelings and theories on how and why's the best of all to let the unknowledged hold, see and feel the life in these objects and explain their reasons. Every year a site gets built on that tells a story of ancient life, or the professional archaeologists scare people of us, calling us thief, drug addicts, or money-hungry animals. We are not the ones getting the paychecks for this. I have never ever thought about how much it is worth or how much is that worth. I just think about how much I can't wait to display these awesome artifacts to the untrained eye and let them see and feel what this continent used to consist of. Not much like today's governing societies. These people respected other spaces, traded items, and let others share their flint outcroppings. It's sad I can't even go to my old site and see what the professionals had dug up. Every one of us amateurs know it's put away in basements at these museums for future study, for only them to see. For what? I have nothing against them for trying to save timelines, but we are humans too, that would like to enjoy our only life on this planet, as well-informing people to get along and share this wonderful place. Because we know every one of our sites will be houses and stores, and as amateur archaeologists, I feel it's our job to save and beautifully display the public free of charge and hands-on the awesome artifacts that we save before it happens. Because I sure wouldn't want my time capsule of how we worked shown and cherished when I'm dead and gone to live on and not rot in the ground or some basement museum never to be seen. I think the smile and enjoyment it pulls in all of our hearts is worth more than a paycheck, because I sure have lost a few in gas for the car and electric in my house displaying these beautiful artifacts. Just wish we could all get along on this place we all call home. To all of those YouTubers and amateur archaeologists out there, thanks for your hard work and displaying your finds to the public. Most artifact collectors do not have access to farmland in their regions of the country, so most have to excavate for them or walk miles through creek beds. It's always done on private property with permission, and seldomly do these properties stay empty for long. Everywhere I have excavated has been on private property. Everywhere I've been since a young man has been covered up and built on by today's forever growing and fast building society. Thankfully, we have the amateurs such as Brooksy that have the drive to find these almost forever lost story-telling relics. If not, we need never have seen these pieces of art and survival tools come back to life for the respect to the makers that worked so hard on them and traveled so far for their material. We should never let these monumental pieces of ancient history sit forever in the ground, but to recollect them and display the creators back to life, such as we would want with our modern day tools. The ancient ones deserve to have their story of life be told, not hidden. Please refrain from thinking we are thieves. We are mere heroes to these helpless artifacts. P.S. There are up there. P.S. Just think they're up there looking down saying, "Hey, check it out, Johnny. Brooksy just unearthed that killer Mozartite Calf Creek you made a few thousand years ago and now posting on YouTube where the public will see your fine craftsmanship and see that you were once a living soul that walked this earth so many years ago." Author unknown. Another thing, this is something we live by right here. This is called our collector's creed. As a collector, supporter, rescuer, and advocate for the legal rescuing and collecting of artifacts, I pledge to do my best to educate the public on the legal and ethical aspects of recovering and collecting artifacts, thereby preserving history for future generations. I pledge to work against the destruction and artifacts and against the destruction of the protected and public and federally preserved sites that may contain protected artifacts. I pledge and acknowledge that my own collecting efforts comply with all known laws protecting artifacts, and that I diligently work to make others aware of such legal rights and activities, doing my best to persuade those who engage in illegal recovery activities to stop such actions or be exposed to proper repercussions for their activities. As a protector, supporter, educator, rescuer, and advocate for artifact collecting, I pledge my support for the education, engagement, and enlightenment of all known legal artifact recovery and collecting activities, methods, and practices. It is my belief collecting of legal artifacts, including the recovery and protection of such, is the basic right and responsibility of all citizens. And all artifact hunters that I know, that I've ever met online, in person, anywhere, would never touch a burial site. That's where the meth heads are coming in. Touching a burial site is disrespectful, and it's bad mojo in a bad way. And it's not disrespectful to those that are gone. It's disrespectful to their legacies that are here. And I'm part of that legacy. Whether you like it or not, I'm a 1/4% Cherokee. I'm not registered. I would give anything to be registered. but I'm not. And, you know, I can show that right here. All this right here is where my aunt worked on, and all this information can be found on Ancestry.com, thanks to my aunt, Alicia Brooks, who worked on 10 years of compiling our family history. And it shows everyone from my grandma, Shirley Jean Dixon, right there, Shirley Jean Dixon, daughter of Emil Dixon and Mildred Kathleen Mundy, was born on January 26, 1932 in Greene County. It has my grandpa, Delbert Brooks. But to get on with it without burning a bunch of time, this has my whole family history right here. And not just my second great grandmother still being 100% Native American, my fifth great grandmother, was Nancy Noble, born in 1938 in Tennessee, USA, Native American Indian. She was Cherokee. Here it goes on to explain. Nancy Noble and Willis Long had the following children: Alice Elizabeth Long, and who she married, and on, and it keeps going on. For all the generations that are recorded in our family Cherokee heritage history, all the way down to the 14th generation and my 13th great-grandmother. Yes. Which Pocahontas probably has thousands of great-great-grandchildren, but I am one of them. So you have no right to say with your slanderous article of this people of the dirt that we are drug heads or meth users. Your entire article is preposterous and wrong. All the facts you are giving are just like all the other previous stories before this. You're letting 1% of bad people and trying to stereotype us all. That's not how we are. You're so wrong. You're so far from the truth. It's not even funny. You know, I'll show you my house, because I'm not ashamed of anything. You know, and this is what my house looks like every day. Every single day. I've showed my house in videos before. You know, here's a gift from a friend, where this was actually, who knows how much money they paid for this. And I'm honored to have this. But for you to go slandering the artifact community and me as you wish, that's wrong. You owe us an apology. You owe me an apology. You owe all artifact hunters an apology. You're wrong. Everything you state in here, all you're doing is letting a few bad apples and trying to let that speak for us all. Most artifact hunters, we do it because it's saving and rescuing a history that's been lost, and that isn't cherished or cared about for most people except us. And for me, every time I do anything It literally kills me. But I do it because I'm trying to keep myself healthy. My doctor that I have to see once a month. If I was on drugs, my doctor would know it. I have to have my hips and back put back into place. They're so messed up. Once a month, I have to have that done by a DO doctor who checks me for everything. I have to take thyroid medication. They have to check my blood. I'm sorry, but this was my way of saying what you're doing is slanderous. You owe me an apology. You owe the whole artifact an apology. And the whole artifact community needs to stand up. And we need to stand up now against this. This is wrong. And all you haters can leave whatever comment you want. I'll just delete it and block you. You want to leave some constructive criticism? I'll take it. But if it's just negative and hateful, we're done with the cyberbullying. That's all this is. Hatred and cyberbullying, slandering.